Hello and welcome to the day 5 of a pre-season warm-up competition. I'm just about to start the task. There's still 8 minutes until the start gate closure. Majority of the competitors have already started. I'm just about to start the task. It's not going to be a very realistic task. We've got about 20 kilometers per hour wind. We are flying the club class. I'm currently in ASW 20, and I think that I'll just speed up and try to start the task. Just need to be careful not to lose my wings. Just need to concentrate a little bit. I think that was a reasonably good start. I know that it's difficult to watch a video like this with a rapid head movement, so I will try to control myself and to move my head reasonably gently, but of course I can't promise that that's going to be possible. I think we need to fly quite fast because the conditions are strong. With the 20 kilometers per hour perpendicular wind to those ridges ahead of me in the next valley, I expect that those ridges will work quite well. Of course, flying ASW 20 without water ballast at 200 kilometers per hour seems a bit crazy. But like I said, this is just a warm-up, pre-season warm-up competition. I just organized it to, well, give people opportunity to have some fun. I'm pretty sure later in the season there will be time to have a little bit more serious competitions with slightly weaker conditions and more realistic conditions. And we'll see how it will go. Of course, flying in VR, you would be surprised how rapidly and how often pilots move their head. To be honest, I didn't realize that that's really the case until I watched one of my previous videos. Of course, I've got the images stabilized by the Oculus software. But even with this image stabilization, it's still the footage is quite jittery. I'm of course at the same time talking to my friends on TeamSpeak, so please forgive me if I go quiet for bits at a time. So we are arriving at a reasonable altitude to this mountain. Definitely not down in the valley, so this ridge should work quite well. As I expected, this is a pretty strong wind. So maybe even I was flying too slowly getting to this ridge. We need to keep in mind that there is a really high reach into the wind after the 10.1, so I think it's quite important to get quite high, to be quite high at the 10.1. So I will try to use those ridges to gain as much altitude as I can. Of course, I'm using this nice feature of LK 8000, which is called the General Aviation Map, which just shows me in red the terrain below me. That gives me a pretty good idea about how high the mountains are after the turn point. I can see that maybe wiggling a little bit, I could potentially go almost on track. And I still have 15 kilometers to the first turn point. That's not too much. There's not much time to gain some altitude. So I am a little bit worried that I will get to the first turn point a little bit too low. We can already see some competitors ahead of us. Kilo Juliet flying around the mountain, so it looks like he was not high enough to go in a straight line from 10.1 to 10.2. This is an indication that it might be possible. Of course, there's always a trade-off. You can fly really fast and get low, and as a result of that, then you may need to go around the mountains and just cover more distance, which will obviously slow down your average speed. Well, another way is to just fly a little bit slower and get really high, which then allows you to fly in a straight line. Which exactly is a better strategy today, it's hard to say. We will find out at the finish line, and of course, that's the beauty of racing, well, virtual gliding racing. Looks like there's quite a few ridges between the first and the second turn point to be crossed into the wind. So I think it might be necessary to just go around on the right side. To Maciej może skomentować, bo przecież on ma ASW20, to wie. I decided to go back the same way I came to the first turn point. I think I was just too low to have any chances of crossing those mountains, those ridges into the wind. Artur, dużo już mnie dogoniłeś? Papa Uniform Sierra scared me a little bit. He just flew right behind me. As you can see, I tend to do lots of things to see the terrain below me. I quite often like to switch the cockpit off. Again, not very realistic, but in a virtual competition, sometimes quite handy to see where exactly is the terrain below you. We've got a couple of guys coming towards us. I can see on my PDA that there was a quite good lift on this mountain ahead of me, so that's what I will try to do, just go there, climb a little bit before flying into the wind. Of course, here there's quite a big sink as we are crossing this ridge into the wind from the lee side. It's a bit difficult to fly the way I would like without moving my head rapidly. I still try to control myself. And now flying in a straight line, so I think I've got a minute to switch to autopilot and maybe show you my glider from the outside. There she is, my really nicely painted ASW-20. I hope you like my paint scheme. Right, back to the cockpit. Back to the cockpit now. I need to think about what I'm going to do after this second turn point. I think I will just go back the same way I came in, unless I can really climb on this mountain ahead of me there. This would allow me to arrive to the turn point really high, and then maybe I would be able to cross this mountain ridge in a straight line. There is a little bit of a hill that leads to this crossing, so there's a chance that I could just stay up. Kuba zapiernicza, nie, że jest wysoko, to już tu, kurde. No jeszcze 1 000 000 kilometrów do punktu, on już tu. Że się nie pchaliście tam przez te góry z powrotem? To jest niemożliwe tam przejść? Widzę, że się nie pchaliście tam przez te góry z powrotem. Niemożliwe tam jest przejść? No i po drugim. I'll try to gain some altitude on this ridge before going for the 10 point. No pewnie to by było 3000 stóp, nie? To pewnie. Tak 2500 to jest taki normalny dzień. Looks like there's a number of people trying to get across that ridge. That is a decent idea. I decided to go around, but going around is possibly a mistake. I think that maybe it was a good idea to try to climb there and cross that ridge. It's going to be quite interesting which path was the best in this task. I am a little bit too low, so I need to start thinking about climbing. It would be great if I could just fly without stopping. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, we'll see. There's quite a high mountain pass ahead there. But we do not have any clouds indicating any thermals. It's all about the ridge lift. I need to try to stay at my current altitude and then maybe climb there a little bit. That should be enough to make the pass. But this is probably a time to slow down a little bit and focus on gaining enough altitude to make the pass. I think I still need about 100 or maybe 200 meters more. Currently at about almost 1700. If I was at 1900, I think I should be able to make a pass. There are some ridges on the way, so hopefully I'll manage to climb a bit. This one here unfortunately is not very steep, which means that the ridge lift is probably not going to be particularly strong. Positive thing is that we are flying without water ballast because it's a club class competition, so these gliders can climb quite well. No tak na styk w tej chwili. No to ty już mnie masz dogonionego, tak? I think we should be able to make the pass. Of course, I'm still counting on gaining a little bit more altitude on those couple of ridges leading to the pass. This ridge works quite well. I'm pretty certain that I will be able to make the pass. This is one of the most important things in my opinion, to fly in a way that allows a smooth flight without stopping too much. So it is very important to learn when to fly fast and when to slow down and start preserving your altitude. Of course, I'm far away from doing this really well, but well, that's the beauty of virtual gliding, that it doesn't really matter how experienced you are, there's always something to learn, and there are always some conclusions to be made after every single flight. I guess this is very similar to the real world, flying in a real world, where you learn in every flight. I need to start thinking, what am I going to do after this next turn point? I think I will have to go right and around the mountain. There's not much choice. Looks like we already have final right. The only thing is that we need to go around some mountains. But maybe I should start thinking about speeding up. We already have final right at McGreedy 3.5. So after making this pass here, I think I can start thinking about going faster. But it might be also a good idea to just come back here after the turn point. Make that little pass over there and then go straight to the finish line, pretty much at Vienna. So we'll have another decision to make after the turn point. We could go right around the mountain, or we could try to make that pass over there through this gap. I think I will turn around the turn point and then I'll think about what to do next. It always depends on the altitude, how high one is. Maybe I'll just slow down a little bit. I'm just going downwind. Actually, there's quite a bit of sink in here, so maybe I shouldn't slow down. To taka lekko miazga. I think it should be possible to make through, well, to go through this gap. I'm just not sure if it's worth slowing down to preserve altitude in order to go through the gap. decided to go through the gap. CG. To co tam fest zmierzyliście? Of course, I don't think that anybody in the real world would be crazy enough to try to make that pass. But that's the beauty of Condor as well, that you can set, well, a fun, a little bit arcade tasks. Or you could also set a really difficult and challenging task. Maybe in one of the future videos we'll try to record a flight with more realistic conditions. Yippee, through the pass. I think we've got a pretty good final glide, so I think it's time to go fast. I'm 200 meters above final glide at McGreedy 5.0, so I think we can go pretty fast now. No, bardzo dużo nie. No taki trochę arkadowy. And now we just need to sprint towards the finish line, 12 kilometers. We should still be getting some lift, so there's no point in slowing down. I think that we just need to push it. I hope that I've managed to keep my head reasonably steady throughout the flight. Cześć. Zdarzały się identyczne czasy też. Got quite a bit of kinetic energy, so we should be able to make, well, fly above this little hill. Unfortunately, we'll have to slow down a little bit. There's quite a lot of people already on the finish line, and I need to be careful with these pilots. Okay, it's time to push again. No dzięki. And across the finish line. Looks like I was able to win with Kilo Juliet by a whopping 2 seconds. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this flight. That's going to be it for today. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.